correspondent. We go together. That's my boyfriend. That's my girlfriend. How many girls say, oh, that's just my girlfriend? And there's nothing sexual that has anything to do with it. That's just her girlfriend. She can say the same thing. That's just my guy friend, or that's just my boyfriend. But now when people use the term boyfriend, it's more like a relationship type thing. And it's not true. See, everything has to be based on this. So, when we look at that, what is Satan working hard to disrupt? The relationship. Because he lost his. He will never ever have a relationship with God again. Ever. And because he can't have it, he gonna bring as much hell to those who have him as he can. His job is to destroy your relationship. First with God. Second with your spouse or your mate. If I can separate you from God, it's easy picking with your husband or your wife. Because y'all ain't got God now. Now y'all, it's just fair game. Well, y'all got God in your life, I can't get to you. Because he always protecting y'all. He got y'all covered. He always blessing y'all. Every time I curse you here, he blessing you. Every time I take one here, he give you 5 more. Think about it. You lose $20 somewhere out your purse, God mess around and somebody bless you with $1,500. But with God out of your life, oh, I got you. I can bring all hell, and I can bring so much hell. I have you arguing in the car on your way to church. I have you arguing as soon as you come out of church. I have you fighting the day before you go to church. I have you fighting in the house. I have you cussing each other out in front of your child. That's Satan's mentality. So if he can destroy the relationship, God is saying, let me help you all out. Let me show you Jeremiah. Let me show you the relationship that I had, not only with John before John came, but he had to tell Jeremiah, let me explain something to you, Jeremiah. We was already hanging out. Jeremiah, we was hanging out already. Before you was even in the womb, we was hanging out. Is that not what he said? Let's look at it. Chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. If God knows you, knew him, you don't think he knew God? See, he got his body coming in here. He was already a spirit. He was already hanging out with God. But God saw fit to bring him into this world. So therefore, he was like, man, before I was formed, man, me and you was hanging out. This is the relationship he's reminding Jeremiah about. We had a relationship, man. See, even Satan had a relationship before he got kicked out. He was head of the choir. Something about the choirs, man. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before you came out, I sanctified you. I knew you before you was in there. While you was in there, I sanctified you. Are y'all picking that up? Anybody got that? That's the holy call. That's a holy calling. See, you have the heavenly call, which is salvation. You have the holy call, which is sanctification. You sanctified Jeremiah in the womb? Before I knew you. You was hanging out with me before I formed you. I sanctified you while you was in there. And I what? Ordained you. So before he even came out, He was sanctified and ordained. By who? By God. Not man, God. It's in your Bible. And I ordained you to be what? A prophet. So not only was he called, he was chosen, and he was separated in the womb before he even came out. I'm called, I'm called, I'm called, I'm called. Folks running around all day, I'm called, I'm called, I'm called. See, it's something special when you start going back in time. You understand why we shouldn't get in a hurry.
Hold on, you said why we shouldn't get in a hurry?
Exactly. Too many folks out running the call. See, even though God did all this for Jeremiah, God had to remind him. Before you was in that womb, man, I knew you. We was hanging out. Not only did I know you, I sanctified you. Not only did I sanctify you, I ordained you to be a prophet. Where? While you was in the womb. It had nothing to do with your parents. That was all God. God said, that's all me. It ain't got nothing to do with your parents. I put you there. I sanctified you. I ordained you. I called. I chose. And I separated you to be a prophet. All in one verse. He did all that in one verse. Man, y'all silent in here, man.
We're soaking it in.
Good. Oh. Tell me that wasn't good. He separated him, ordained him, sanctified him, chose him, called him, all in one verse, and he never stepped foot on the earth. All that before he came out. Boston. What you got?
What made God choose Jeremiah? Was it because of their relationship in heaven?
God, and this is the thing. God, like, well, how do you know God? Why God chooses certain people? I have to tell you this: He's God. So that, knowing that, He can do whatever He want to do when He want to do it. The answer is God chooses whom He sees fit. He blesses and curses. You got to understand, when God called Samson, did He not? God sanctified him. Separated him. Samson was a Nazarite from his birth. That is a special birth. Everybody in the Nazarite. Everybody was walking around with long hair. He couldn't cut his hair. A razor could not touch his head. He couldn't touch the unclean thing, and he couldn't drink wine. Separated from the world. Different. Everybody else drinking wine, getting haircuts, chilling, doing everything. Samson, you can't do that. Samson had a sweet tooth. We all know what it was. But God said, I called you, man. See, God don't make mistakes when He calls folks. You can, and I always tell people this, you can't disqualify yourself for the call. You can't. You can't forfeit your destiny. You can. God didn't make a mistake. You just got to let the world get a hold of you. That's all it was. And when Samson started getting a piece of the world, thinking he had control over the world, because Samson, he really thought, I got this under control. I'm going to go down there and get me a harlot or a whore whenever I feel like it. When I'm done, I'm going to go back to my daddy's house. And that's what he did. Whenever he felt like getting a woman, he'd go and get one. Then he'd go back home, go roam wherever he wanted to go. And when he'd want another, he'd go back. Samson went down to Timnath. I mean, Samson was just going. But he thought he had a hold on it. But in reality, it had a hold on him and cost him his life. He literally sacrificed, forfeited his destiny for what he wanted. Don't sacrifice your destiny for what you want. Keep God first. Everybody got that? So if you all